Many are dying, many are weeping, many are complaining, and so many are blaming a particular set of people. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of your societal program, A Focal Point. It is a show where we get to dissect as well as analyze societal ills, to be precise, which are very best to make sure that our society is going forward. It's developing well. We are doing the right things as the people who constitute our various societies. And so I once said, when we have a people, even if it is in a house, from two upward, you notice that there must be some issues that will come up. And when these issues come up and they are not properly handled, they lead to disastrous outcomes or disastrous future problems. So focal point is that avenue where we come and we are looking into society with every thing that we've got. We're looking at it with our eyes, we are listening, we are watching and making sure that we are gathering all that is happening. And when we come here, we eyes it and try to make sense of it and look for a way forward from that particular ill. And that's the reason why today we have come to look at medical negligence in medical institutions and the impact on patient. Like I started, many are dying, many are weeping, and so many are blaming the hospital staff. Some are complaining and saying it is because of the negligence of the hospital, the negligence of the nurses, the not so mindfulness of the doctors. Why the doctors are saying it is the people, they don't pay well, they don't follow protocol. It's just a lot. So we have come, and I say we, panelists, to analyze this situation. Truly, is there even medical negligence? And if there is, how does it manifest? Have you witnessed it and all? So there's going to be a number on your screen, actually numbers. You do well to send in your contribution via those numbers. Those of you who are on WhatsApp, you can send in even a voice note because someone said it is too heavy for me to type and too long. Okay, no problem. You can send a voice note. We're going to make sense of it and, well, relay it to those who are watching. Let's quickly meet the panelists for the day, ladies and gentlemen. They say ladies before gentlemen, right? Okay, we will start with Mo Harriet. It's been a long time I've been with her on a platform like this one, so I'm very happy and excited. Harriet, long time. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Madam Mano. It's a pleasure to be on set with you again. And thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
I'm going to share my 2 cents on this issue on medical negligence. And really, people have been crying, and it's a call for concern, especially in our country. We've come to realize that if we don't talk about it, then I don't know when we're going to find a solution, but keeping quiet about it is going to prolong
The situation.
the crisis or the issues that we are having with our medical sector in the country. So, there's this thing they do, especially some of the nurses. They describe the patient.
I hope you have not started getting into this topic because we're still to introduce another person.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Please just give us 1 second. Let's introduce another person. It's been long we start with him on the platform like this. After which, Mama, you can let the floodgates of everything come out. Because today, like you said, if we do not talk about it, we do not know when it's going to stop. As well as we do not know when we're going to find a solution to it. Ladies and gentlemen, joining the panel today, the king. Wow, he's a bright and morning star. I love his energy whenever he's around. He's so positive, he's so energetic, he's so bubbly, and he's an artist too. I'm talking about none other than Mr. Ako Henry. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Madam Pano.
Happy
New Year to my dear sister Harriet. Happy New Year to all.
When was the last time you saw Harriet?
7 years ago.
Harriet,
It's up to 7 years.
That's okay, it's okay.
7 years ago, and I'm meeting Harriet on this platform today. I think to God be the glory.
Amen.
That is just what I can say. It's an interesting talking point, and it's my pleasure to be here this morning to touch those particular areas where people have been crying, people have been dying, people have been asking questions. And I think I should congratulate you when I was told that I have to be part of this show. And looking at the topic that we are going to handle is that topic that it has raised a lot of dust. And I think us who have come, not that we know best, but we are going to put our technical know-how to see how we can come out with solutions before the end of this program.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ako. I will quickly start now with you, Madam Harriet. So, Madam Harriet, when we were struggling to come up with this program, it was sent across. So many people had the opportunity to choose what we should talk about. We had two. We had this one and public indecency. One doctor said he has a problem with non-medical personnel, saying that there is something that exists like medical negligence. So I ask you, do you really think there is anything of this sort existing in our society, in our hospitals, medical negligence?
Of course, there's a lot of medical negligence in our society. We've recorded several cases of people who've gone to the hospital and end up dying because they've been neglected.
So what is medical negligence then?
Medical negligence is basically the how can I say it? Like the lukewarm attitude that medical practitioners have towards patients who have come to the hospital to seek solution for their health problems. Yes. So when they don't attend to these patients, it's negligence, because especially if they end up dying, it means they were being neglected, and the cause of their death is as a result of the negligence on the part of the medical institutions or practitioners. Now imagine a situation where someone goes to the hospital in a very critical condition, and all they can do is they are so focused on, you have to give a deposit before we attend to you. Imagine someone maybe in a situation of an accident, who maybe the family is not yet aware of that situation, and then some strange people rushes with them to the hospital. Somebody died because they are unable to provide.
I think in such cases the government is usually the one that steps in, because normally when it is an accident or a gunshot, you must talk to the police. So at that point, for what I know, the police is the one that has to accompany people to the hospital. So the doctors will attend, and while they start sorting out who is your family member and all.
How about in a situation where there are some critical situations that before the police get in, so why not attend to the patient first while waiting on the police to come for whatever reason, than letting them die and then you start blaming the patient or blaming the people who brought the patient in. Sometimes accidents can happen and we just intervene. The life is more important. It's important that we preserve life first, and then we start looking into those paperwork or whatever report that may come from the police, or whether the government has to intervene later on. Yeah, I know that it's difficult maybe with the private hospitals, but life is more precious than any other thing. That's what I think.
All right, Mr. Ako, do you think there is anything like medical negligence? Have you ever been to a hospital and you felt like you were neglected by a staff?
Madam Mano, in fact, this topic is my best topic. Why am I saying it's a best topic? Let me use what happened yesterday, as if we knew that this topic was going to come up. One of my niece had an accident in Manfred yesterday morning. A bike knocked her down when she was on her way to school. They went to our small hospital there. They referred them to Boya. They brought that girl to Boya yesterday. That girl was there in the hospital for the past 2 hours. There was nobody to attend to her. I'm telling you a life story, not like I hear say. Now the mother called me. I said, we have been here for the past 2 hours. Nobody has even come to even ask us what is the problem. That girl was dying in pain. The girl was there crying until somebody proposed, but why not carry her to Limbe? So they have to rush that girl yesterday to Limbe. They got there around few minutes after 8 p.m. Just imagine that incident occurred before 7 a.m. yesterday. And that girl had to travel from Manfred to Boya with the pains yesterday. Arriving Boya that same yesterday, there was nobody to attend to her. They have to leave Boya to Limbe, and they got to Limbe around few minutes after 8 p.m. Madam Mano, let us be sincere to ourselves. Where were the medical professionals that we know?
People, they were busy, they were in the lab.
You see, when somebody is battling between life and death, Madam Mano,
they could have been a long line.
We have emergency. And Madam Mano, any professional that works in any of our hospitals should know that it is my duty. You are there because you want to serve the future leaders of tomorrow. Because if we lost one Cameroonian or we lost one soul, it will not affect only the family members, it will affect our country, Cameroon. Because that is somebody who maybe must have brought a change in one way or the other in our country, but because of negligence, we allow that person to die. Okay, just imagine that if there was not that good Samaritan who proposed yesterday that no, please, you people should take this child to Limbe. When we're eating ordinary level for 5-8 years, and at the end of the day, if you foresee to have it in the 9 years, what happened is I should go to nursing.
But Mr. Ako, that is just one case out of that is isolated. It could be. Wait, just hold on. It could be. Yesterday was an unfortunate day. Probably the doctors were not around. The person who was there with the girl. Did the person go to any office to call a nurse and they refused?
Madam Mano, let me also tell you another situation where we went with one disabled person into the hospital. What they told us was the doctor is busy. The doctor is busy.
But Mr. Ako, if the doctor is busy probably with another patient, what do you expect the nurse to do?
If the doctor is busy, those nurses know what to do. They are professionals. They know what to do. Okay, so if the doctor is busy, should a hospital, like let's talk about regional hospital, should not have just one doctor?
Yes.
Because the work will be too much for him, Madam Mano. The work will be too much for him or her to handle. How many patients do we have in our various hospitals who go for various complaints? How many emergencies do we have? You understand? Yeah. So I think they should tell them, because I know when you get to the hospital, from the little knowledge I know, I am not a medical practitioner, but today you go to abroad, you will make cash.
Okay. A doctor sent this message to us, those of us who are going to sit on the panel today, as well as those who will be watching and those who are not watching but listening. The doctor had this to say, so I'm going to play this message. From there we can pick a thing or two. For those of us who are in the house, we can continue the conversation from there. And also we thanks to Madame Claudine Limbi, our lone broadcaster on board. She actually had some people go down to the streets. We sampled a few persons who talked about their experiences at the hospital. So today it's not just us who are going to be talking here. I quickly play this one very quickly.
For example, a lady might come.
Okay, so I feel like we're having a little problem here. I'll start it all over again.
Let me tell you, as a health personnel, maybe you can share it with your panel. The expectation of an African patient with what they're giving in exchange is so much. The African patient is a very funny patient. I want you to share this with your panel. I've been working for some time. Patients, they don't know that maybe sometimes they come and they meet others on the line. They want you to give them attention. If you ask a lot of them to pay a money, a lot of them cannot be able, they will not be able. And you don't know the workload of a lot of health personnel. One health person, let me tell you, whether it's in general or in private, running hospitals in Africa with the resources that are available makes it so difficult. One nurse can be involved to register patients, to do this, to do certain things online, still expected by the state, still expected to look after patients. That 1 minute, maybe they will say, let me just rest a little bit. Somebody is going to apply it to negligence. Let me tell you what Africans are paying. Let me tell you, whatever Africans are paying in exchange for health services that they receive, I will tell you that every health personnel in Africa is a philanthropist in a particular right. A lot of people can't afford the health and the attention that they seek. Let me tell you, if you come to the hospital and you pay a reasonable sum of money, don't you think that they can employ even 6-7 nurses that by the time you come, they will attend to you? But the money that people are able to pay, it will make an entrepreneur or the person who has a clinic to do what? To earn, to just employ some few people. Because at the end of the day, if it takes a lot of people to provide the care that a lot of people are talking about, he will not be able to meet up. So let me tell you, the main problem affecting hospitals in Africa, in Cameroon, let me tell you, is poverty. It's blunt poverty. People can't afford for the health services. Yeah, the one. See, let me tell you, each time I hear a non-health personnel talking about negligence concerning health personnel, I get annoyed. If I can slap you, I will slap you. Because you don't even know what is real practice. You don't even know what is attention. You don't know their workload. You don't know what they get paid. You don't know all those things. You don't know what is going on in their mind. See, let me tell you, pay. If you people can pay well, let me tell you, you will see A services. Everybody that studied in the health field have passion for human beings. But let me tell you, passion will never fit us. They will employ even more doctors. They will pay people well, and people can have the A services. Until then, whatever people are receiving, still keep thanking God.
Okay. He said we should keep thanking God. Whatever we are receiving right now, we should just keep thanking God. And he didn't end there. He continued. There's another one. This is what he says again.
Lady might come in for labor, and a midwife would follow up that lady for 8 hours. 8 real hours, no resting, checking all those things. At the end of the day, you give them a delivery fee of, let me say, 20,000 francs. They start shouting. Do you people want to kill us? Do you people... what do you think? How are we going to pay that midwife? How are we going to pay those nurses? Well, you don't want to pay well. If they say pay, let me tell you the truth there. Health have not been prioritized from the up to the bottom. And there's an image that has been sold to the normal patient out there that health is supposed to be cheap, which is a big lie. To train a health personnel, just a nurse, you know how much they pay in Biaka. You know how they pay in other training schools. And then at the end of the day, because people cannot pay well, before you even recover that money for that school fee, it's going to take you many years. So let me tell you, all centers about the pay strength. Let me tell you, have you gone to hospitals where doctors are paid well, nurses are paid well? Let me tell you, they rush after you. They rush after you. This thing is a two-way street. People are only expecting health from health personnel, are wanting attention, but yet people can't pay. Pay these people well. Let me tell you, even if you want me to be checking you after 1 hour as a doctor, I'll be checking you. But come on, what you give at the end of the day, maybe I will not be paid well. Maybe the entrepreneur cannot even make any gains, but yet you want all the full attention in the world. See, I will say this very loud. Patients in Africa, in Cameroon, should appreciate health workers for the stress, for the time they give in. How many nurses have to leave their husbands and their partners at home just to take care of human life? I know those are just the fundamentals, but at the end of the day, they cannot even get the reward that can make them. You see, some people who work for many years and at the end of the day, end as puppets, but yet the patient want the highest of care. Let me tell you, pay well and you get the best care. That's
okay.
What I tell you.
All right, we've heard from this doctor. He is Dr. Ebeso, all the way from Yaoundé. When he saw this topic, I want to tell you, my phone did not rest. He was so angry. You know what it means for a doctor practicing in the capital itself, and then it's like they are close to the government, and so there's an image that they don't really like. And Harry, when you listen to him, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Yeah, on the other hand, he's right. He's right. Poverty is another aspect that has prevented patients from getting the health services they actually need.
Yeah.
But then, when you mention passion, that they have passion, that nobody goes into nursing when they don't have, or medical field when they don't have the passion. But I still want to look at it like, the passion, that passionate side of it is when your main focus should be on preserving lives rather than insisting that patients should give money or they should pay very high for medical services. We know the situation of the country, and given the fact that resources are unevenly distributed, there will always be poor people. But then, should poor people also die? I mean, if you have paracetamol in your house and you can save a life, why not give it away for free rather than keep it because you're expecting 100 francs for somebody who can afford the 100 francs to come and pay before you give the paracetamol, and then the other person dies? You know, it doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, we always, that passionate part of it is when you're able to preserve life, and not because you're doing it because this person has paid you so much money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the doctors are trying, like this particular doctor, Dr. Ebeso, is trying to open our eyes to an extent.
Yeah.
The attitude that some of us do have when we go to the hospital is really not the best. Like, Mr. Ako, I don't know why you're breathing heavily, but I will say what I want to say. Yesterday you got to the hospital, we don't even know the time you got there, but maybe if you said you people were in the hospital for about 2 hours before leaving for Limbe, and you got to Limbe at past 8, some few minutes past 8 p.m. It means you were at the hospital, let's say, from 5 to maybe 7 p.m. And we all know, Madam Harriet, that that's the hour the doctors hand over. That's the hour most doctors and nurses hand over. So you probably came during the transition period, and maybe before these doctors leave, we all know that they have to close their book, so they do their rounds. So what if you actually went there when the doctor was doing his rounds, and then you concluded that the doctor does not care, the doctor was negligent, the nurses did not care either?
Madam Mano, what you are saying, you are not wrong. You are right. Very correct. But I think what we're supposed to understand here, Madam Mano, there is a way of talking to a patient. You understand? Now, let's say we have come when the doctor is maybe about to hand over to another doctor who have to continue. I mean, those nurses who are there, who are available at that moment, one must come and they have to tell you that, oh, please, this is what is happening. At least that will console you. You know what it means for you to sit and there is nobody to attend to you. It's like you don't even know where you are, what you are intending to do there. The doctor talked about poverty. I don't think I will really disagree with him. Yes, it's true, and that is the reason why most of the
and it's
people,
not just that, Mr. Ako, please, don't say I'm cutting you short. Madam Harriet, I want you to please back me up here, I beg you. We are poor, and our lifestyle too is very poor.
Yes.
You cannot afford medical services, but you can afford 5 bottles of beer daily.
Yes.
And then when you get to the hospital because your kidney is failing, the doctor should suddenly appear and come and save you and treat you.
Madam,
are you serious? Mr. Ako, are you serious?
Madam Mano, like what I said, you are very correct. But Madam Mano, the problem is this. We know the system of this country. I'm talking about Cameroon because I'm a Cameroonian. And of course, it's not like all the medical practitioners are bad. No. We have some of them who really knows what they are going in for, and they have the interest of the people at heart. I think we salute those ones. But our problem here is, Madam Mano, to those one who just want to have the name, I am a medical professional, or I'm a nurse. At the end of the day, where your service is needed, you cannot render the service. Then you need to ask questions to yourself. Because the truth about it is, like the doctor said, he make mention that all the professionals who are there, they are for passion. But I would disagree to an extent. Yes, because we know what is happening in Cameroon. Because of lack of job, somebody will just look at what is paying now, and you decide to divert. It's not that all those people who are nurses or doctors today, they follow their passion. No, it's not a passion. They follow money. Where can I have cash? Like now, we know that out of Cameroon, if you are a nurse, you earn a huge sum amount of money.
So they go into this medical.
Yes, they go into
the ones that don't even care about their background.
Don't even care about their background. And Madam Mano, let me not even talk about Cameroon. Those people who are making, today we are giving credit to the white man. We say, oh yeah, I prefer to take my patient take the patient out of the country because there we have qualified doctors, and those qualified doctors, you want to look at them, some of them are coming from Cameroon. Why can't we bring what we are giving to the white man in our own country? That is where the problem lies. Because if we are able to bring it in our own country, you will see that souls will not die. The doctor, he raised good number of points there, of which I think I should salute him, because I like people who are honest. But Madam Mano, this is the problem we have here. Most of our people who are into this nursing, they just go for going sake, to look for greener pastures, not because they have the people at heart. And if you have your godfather, you know that after your ordinary level, you go to maybe Biaka or any of the institution, at the end you will just work in the government hospital. After all, you have your godfather. But without knowing, Madam Mano, let me tell you, in the days of old, our fathers and our mothers, they used to praise nurses. They used to praise doctors. You go to the hospital, you see the way a doctor will pamper you. A doctor will even have time to discuss with you. A doctor will even console you. A doctor will tell you so many things, but today it's not happening. Let me ask you a question, Madam Mano.
Yes.
He talked of those who have the passion. Today, let's say Akko Henry is HIV positive. With our nurses know how to pass that information to Akko Henry.
They are trying, Mr. Akko.
They call you in a very nice
room. For that one, Mr. Akko, we know they have been doing it.
But it doesn't just end there. Maybe with that one-on-one discussion with them. But where I have a problem with some of these nurses is after they've had that one-on-one discussion with you on your health situation, they now go back into the community and they start telling people.
Madam Harriet, where is the evidence that we have that these nurses are the ones who go and propagate our health situations?
So how do people in the community get to know that?
Yes.
Sometimes it is you who rant.
No,
it's
Madam
very
Mano.
difficult,
It's
especially
difficult.
with HIV. We know those sickness when people have.
Yes.
They don't want another person to know. But then in the community, everybody knows.
You will be especially a person with disability.
That is why.
No, let me.
I knew you were going to do that.
I must do it, Madam Mano. That's why I told you that. From the onset, I said this.
Okay.
Because a person with disability, you see, you want to pass, you say, where wahala don't come to do. Plus disability, where get that? You know, say, I go ahead to get HIV. Now, adding HIV to the disability, then what do you think will happen to that person with disability? So I think the people who claim to love us, they are not instead doing what they are supposed to do. A patient should trust the nurse or the doctor.
Okay.
That if I have this situation, the person who's supposed to guide me is my doctor or my nurse.
All right.
Now, Madam Mano, I thought I was asking a question on a person who is HIV positive or patient. At the end of the day, will it just end all about telling you what your result is all about?
Mr. Akko, you're the one who has to follow up your health from there on.
Madam
Let's not
Mano,
forget that we also have a part to play.
If they have told
you about your present health situation, and you don't like it, what do you do?
Of course, they're not going to end there. They're going to cancel you.
Yes, that is the point.
Now, the rest part of it is on you.
It's on you.
Because you have to come for your treatment, your medication, or whatever. But then, some people deliberately stay home and they don't go for the antiretroviral.
Yes.
All right.
And then tomorrow when it starts affecting them, they want to blame. No, it's because of this, it's because of that. Even for me, even if you go and tell the whole world about my health situation, my focus is on me to get well.
So
I will still go for my medication and I will still go and people will see me.
Okay.
But then not everyone can have this kind of mindset. That's why you see some people who prefer to travel from one town to another to go and get their drugs because they don't want anybody in that environment that knows them to see that this is their health
Yeah.
situation. And also, how do you explain that you go to the hospital with that kind of situation, and then maybe the nurse comes out to call you and say, who's that HIV case day?
Has that ever happened, Madam?
Yes,
Yes,
it happens
Madam Mano.
every day.
Every day.
In fact, that is the very common thing. now.
That's a normal thing. They call you by your sickness.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, they describe
It's
not bad of tuberculosis.
Yes,
Yes.
who's that
You
abortion
understand?
case?
Who's that abortion
Who's that
case?
syphilis case? No,
You
wow,
understand?
it's becoming normal. It's
Yes.
like it's normal for them, but it's not okay.
Yeah.
It's just not okay because it has a lot to play on the psychology of the patient, and also it is our responsibility to ensure the welfare and the welfare of
And the
every
mental-
patient.
the mental
Yes,
state.
the mental state of every
How do
patient
you
that
say
comes to
that
us.
part of it gets
Imagine now you're
Understand?
seated in a crowd and then somebody walks out and say, who said that HIV case day? Would you comfortably stand up and walk up to that
Like
person?
seriously, that's
Because
that will
everybody in
happen.
that environment is already watching.
Curious, they want to see who is the HIV
Who is the
patient.
HIV
Yes,
patient?
and so they create a stigmatizing environment for the patient, and the patient becomes a victim.
And then there's this friend of mine who complained that when she went to the hospital with her sister was about giving birth. The nurse kept on shouting at the sister. When the sister was facing difficulties, like she was a little shy to open her legs,
Yes,
they even had to slap her thigh, and it was her mother who was like, if you do that again, I'll get you well beaten. And I was like, is it that the nurse was in her bad mood, or was it not just a good day? Like,
It's-
wow, why will you slap?
That's not an isolated case, because there are so many situations like that. They'll even tell you, tell me if you do if
I
you
be-
open
I
your
be-
food, but
yeah,
now
I be-
wait, so you know about this?
Yes,
Yes,
I
of
know
course.
about it. I
Of
know
course.
about it. Many people are speaking. Many people are talking about it. But just that they cannot come out and really say this is it, this is it, this is it. You know. But when you have one-on-one conversations with some people who have had these
Yeah.
experiences, they will actually tell you what they went through. I never had that experience when I was having my baby. The nurses were so kind and they pampered me and everything. But I've heard it from other people actually, and I don't think that's something we should
Encourage.
encourage
And we should
or
talk about it.
minimize. We
Okay.
have to talk about it.
All right, this other doctor, listen to what Dr. Eboso said. He says, but we need to understand that the way our health system is financed affects the way it's actually run. In as much as health isn't a priority in our local hospitals, our health system will remain under-equipped and overcharged. In 2001, in a meeting held by members of the African Union in Abuja, a declaration was passed to raise the budget for health to 15% of national income. Up till this date, Cameroon and most other countries still run at about 5 to 7%. Interestingly, so their main method of payment is still out of pocket, meaning if the average person had an illness that requires a huge sum of money, they won't afford health services. Services, personnel and equipment allocated by government are not uniformly shared across regions. So because the head doesn't prioritize health care, the average man will not value their health and feels they shouldn't spend as much. Health education is still a huge problem. So there's a huge problem that could be dissected and analyzed in-depthly. Okay, so I am actually feeling kind of like, wow, do we really have such issues, and probably we're just sitting somewhere and not saying anything?
Yes.
Now this one comes now in and says many medical personnel in most Cameroonian hospitals are persons who studied arts or commercial segments of education during their secondary and high school days. Since life is tough, they decided to do medical studies. It's on these premises that we find ourselves in a terrible experience. In most hospitals, as they said, quacks provide bad services that has led to the death of many persons. And this one says, my in-law lost her daughter in a hospital because there was no standby energy in incubators. Okay, so you know what? It's okay. It's fine. We've been talking for way too long, right? Let's go now to the streets. Madame Claudine is very much ready already to play what some women in a particular locality have to say. So I've just realized, after realizing that this whole issue of medical negligence is very big something. So let's watch, listen, and we'll be right back.
That is a time that a woman needs pets from the nurses. You pet somebody. We have been to hospital. Some people there, when the woman is about 1-2 hours, not even to put to bed, the nurses say, let me give you anointing oil. Can I pray for you? When Madam share your small, in few minutes you put to bed, you will free. Other hospitals that we have seen again too is not correct. We need this kind of care. Nurses need to pet patients. Let them try and have some. I don't know. Maybe some of them they are not. They don't have the calling of God. Some may just push into that thing because they lack what to do there. They have gone around the world. They don't know what to do. So let me just fit myself under the nursing department. If it's not your call, you will not treat patient well. But if it is your call, you will treat patient very well. And the advice to patient is that when you go to the hospitals, there are some procedures for the patient. You follow the procedures. Don't break the protocol. When you break the protocol, it becomes a problem in the hospital. You follow the protocol, or if your illness is severe, your carer now will not go to the office, present his case or her case, that please, I came with a patient, the patient cannot walk, or the patient is this bad, this is what is happening. Because not everybody there will snap at you. There will be somebody, one person there will look at you and understand your case and say, okay, follow me, let's go there, and your day will be nice in the hospital. At least the day will not be bad for you, even if the patient needs to die, but at least they will treat you somehow better. So our cry is that when we go to the hospital, they should treat us well. There's another bad situation. When you go to the hospital, you're there critically sick, they have put you on oxygen, you are under oxygen, you died, or maybe you have been there for some weeks, then you die. You see hospital, they paste you bill on your chest, that they put you there number one until that bill is paid before the corpse is carried out of the hospital. I'm still confused up to date. That what is causing this problem? Somebody who has stayed in the hospital for 1 month, and then the person has bill for 500,000 or 600,000. The person died. The hospital hold the corpse of somebody that until the bills are all settled before the corpse is carried out. I don't really understand what is happening. I don't know if the hospital don't have patience or the hierarchies or what. They don't have a conscience of treating that person. Because you see somebody who is died like that, you say the person should bring money again before they carry the corpse. But people have been paying. Others they bring problem, they shouted until, but they have been paying, of which is not a good thing. How can somebody be in the hospital with bills? 500,000, 600,000, they say the bills must be settled before they carry the corpse. That one too, I look at it as if it's not a good thing. If it's a good thing, let the hospital try to see, call the family of the deceased that please come to the office and let's settle this issue. They can go on 50-50 an agreement, but not that they impose, because we have seen it, we start to see problem in the hospital. People say that hospital is a bad, so I'm not going to put they die for them. They say they pay bills, they come out. Normally, maybe the person has accumulated some drugs, they have given him some drugs that he needs to pay. Call them and then you see them with them one-on-one and talk with them. Another case is that you just bring somebody in the hospital, bring your deposit of 500. What is doing that man that you say the man should bring deposit of 200,000 or 300,000 first? The man came that he's critically sick, and for the hospital to help that person, help him first, let him sleep on the bed, care for the person, then you ask his bill. Not that immediately that if you don't bring deposit of 200,000, you carry the person away. No, it is not a good thing. The man left the house coming to the hospital. He has 200,000 before coming to the hospital. He would have gone somewhere. He came to a solution center that please, people should help me. I'm not having money. Okay, sleep there. We start administering. He start to make calls and the money can come in. Not that no go. At the end of the day, somebody died. You say they died because the man has been sick in the house, negligent, he has not come. He has already been in the hospital. Why do you not help the person? You would at least, maybe the person would have stayed again on this earth for 1 year or 2 years time, but you killed that person. The hospital killed the person because you were asking of deposit. Why would they take deposit at that moment? They don't have deposit. It's not a good thing. That is not a good thing. That's not really a good thing. We should, like, two of them, the nurses and the patient too, they have problems. So the other side, I've talked on the other side of the patient and the nurses. We should try and see where we are fault and then we repent. Yes, nurses should repent on their attitude. The patient too, they should take some patient. When you go to the hospital, there are procedures that you follow, then things will work well. If not so, things will not work well. That is it. But all in all, we are saved by the hospital because they help us. At the end of the day too, we smile, because if not of the drugs, that if they are not there, I don't know what to say. Today too, it will not be been there, because they help us too. At the end of the day, the patient cannot prescribe for himself or herself. Why would a patient not be arrogant too today? Then you see that confrontation between the patient and the nurse or the pharmacy attendant. You start quarreling. You start to quarrel. it creates some chaos between the nurse and the patient. All that kind of thing is not good. But all in all, we yes. Let me come back again. Those are some problems that we face in the hospital. It's not really good. You go to another hospital, health center, you see nurses just like this. Taxi will come with a patient critically sick, they need a wheelchair. Nobody will run and bring. Hey, madam, the patient, go for inside there for room. This go bring wheelchair. No assistant of the patient. The nurse need to assist the patient because the patient does not know how to begin. Please help the patient to go and take wheelchair. Bring the wheelchair closer to the person to remove from the taxi. When you sit on the wheelchair now, you take the person. Please, what is troubling you? Consult the patient. No care. No care. But we are not saying that all the nurses are bad. Some nurses are very good. Some nurses are caring. For example, myself, I met that kind of nurses. You go, they say, madam, sit here, what is happening? You say this, have you taken water or have you eaten since morning? You explain to him or her, the person will like take good care of you. So, okay, go and lie down on the bed. Let me come and consult you. The nurse will like take your book, consult you only on the bed, where you are still on the bed, lying on the bed, not even the consultation room, takes good care of you. After that, they say, madam, they want to administer your drug or bring it drip. They will like give you your drip there. At least when you leave the hospital now, you only be calling, madam, I want to see the nurse this, nurse this, nurse this. They don't want to call the other people because they don't even have time for you. Nurses, they cause patients to die untimely death. Patients too, they don't have patient. They don't have patient on their own when they go to their hospital. But our advice is that when a patient comes to the hospital, they are the nurses that provoked the patient. You know, when you are sick, you are thinking your mindset now is somewhere. Your mindset now is all these things they were taught in school that you pet them. Look at some situation where people, a patient will come with wound on your leg or even on your hand to dress. That is just the worst case. Nurse will like want to clean your wound. How your face is like this. It seems as if you are rotting. It seems as if the wound is not even. It seems as if you are the one to even do it for you. They don't have time. The way they neglect patients in the hospital or the health centers, it's not really a good. It's not a good thing. At least there should be some care for the nurses because this thing has been taught in school for them how to care for patients. Let them give some care. At least even 50% care for the patient. Make people not to like go to hospital because nowadays patients choose hospital to go because you have been there before. You see the care that they take for you. You go to another hospital when care is not taken. Next other time you don't even go there. You don't even go with your children. It makes the hospital not to boost its finance, or at the end of the year you don't maybe it's a private hospital. The person is there making his money. At the end of the year, what the man has realized is not up to what he will not be even happy with what he realized, not knowing that it is caused by nurses. Sorry, it is caused by nurses. So we should like try to send this advice to those that are having hospitals that if your nurses are there, you have workers, they should educate them, be it the pharmacists, the nurses, any attendant, even the security men, those that are there, they should like educate them on what to do. That please care for them. There are elderly people that comes to the hospital, they need care. Even small children, they need care. But if you don't care for them, how can come back? They will sleep and say, this is my last time of coming there. There are some other women, pregnant women. You go to the hospital, they say, madam, Nareti, now your first belly, Nareti may make us so sleep fine or sit here food. A woman that is pregnant, that needs care, that needs real care for the person. You go and lie down. The way they are treating you there is not really a good one. Antenatal care is not really a good one. At times, even when you are matured for labor, when you are ready to go and put to bed, the way they say I put on the make us so tell him the golden and you about madam fix your skin and it's not shout for you. That is a time that a woman needs pets from the nurses. You pet somebody. We have been to hospital. Some people there, when the woman is about 1-2 hours, not even to put to bed, the nurses say, let me give you anointing oil. Can I pray for you? When madam share your small, in few minutes you put to bed, you will free. Other hospitals that we have seen again too is not correct. We need this kind of care. Nurses need to pet patients. Let them try and have some. I don't know. Maybe some of them they don't have the calling of God. Some may just push into that thing because they lack what to do there. They have gone around the world. They don't know what to do. So let me just fit myself under the nursing department. If it's not your call, you will not treat patient well. But if it is your call, you will treat patient very well. And the advice to patient is that when you go to the hospitals, there are some procedures for the patient. You follow the procedures. Don't break the protocol. When you break the protocol, it becomes a problem in the hospital. follow the protocol. Or if your illness is severe, your carer now will not go to the office, present his case or her case, that please, I came with a patient, the patient cannot walk, or the patient is this, but this is what is happening. Because not everybody there will snort at you. There will be somebody, one person there will look at you and understand your case and say, okay, follow me, let's go there. Why would a patient not be arrogant too today? There you see that confrontation between the patient and the nurse or the pharmacy attendant. You start quarreling, start to quarrel. It creates some quarrels between the nurse and the patient. All that kind of thing is not good. But all we yes, let me come back again. Those are some problems that we face in the hospital. It's not really good. You go to another hospital, health center, you see nurses that are just like this. Taxi will come with a patient critically sick, they need a wheelchair. Nobody will run and bring, hey, madam, the patient, go for inside there for room, this go bring wheelchair. No assistant of the patient. The nurse needs to assist the patient because the patient does not know how to begin. Please help the patient to go and take wheelchair. Bring the wheelchair closer to the person to remove from the taxi. When you sit on the wheelchair now, you take the person. Please, what is troubling you? Consult the patient. No care. No care. But we are not saying that all the nurses are bad. Some nurses are very good. Some nurses are caring. For example, myself, I met that kind of nurses. You go, they say, madam, sit here, what is happening? You say this, have you taken water or have you eaten since morning? You explain to him or her, the person will like take good care of you. So, okay, go and lie down on the bed. Let me come and consult you. The nurse will like take your book, consult you only on the bed, where you are still on the bed, lying on the bed, not even the consultation room, takes good care of you. After that, they say, madam, they want to administer your drug or bring it drip. They will like give you your drip there. At least when you leave the hospital now, you only be calling, madam, I want to see the nurse this, nurse this, nurse this. They don't want to call the other people because they don't even have time for you. Nurses, they cause patients to die untimely death. Patients too, they don't have patient. They don't have patient on their own when they go to their hospital. But our advice is that when a patient comes to the hospital, they are the nurses that provoked the patient. You know, when you are sick, you are thinking, your mindset now is somewhere. Your mindset now is that something can happen to you in a second or in a minute's time. Something can happen to you. So when you come to the hospital, you need care from the nurses. You need care, because I thought all these things they were taught in school, that you pet them. Look at some situation where a patient will come with wound on your leg or even on your hand to dress. That is just the worst case. Nurse will like want to clean your wound. How your face is like this. It seems as if you are rotting. It seems as if the wound is not even. It seems as if you are the one to even do it for you. They don't have time. The way they neglect patients in the hospital or the health centers, it's not really It's not a good thing. At least there should be some care for the nurses, because this thing has been taught in school for them, how to care for patients. Let them give some care, at least even 50% care for the patient. Make people now to like go to hospital, because nowadays patients choose hospital to go because you have been there before. You see the care that they take for you. You go to another hospital when care is not taken. Next other time you don't even go there. You don't even go with your children. It makes the hospital not to boost its finance, or at the end of the year you don't maybe it's a private hospital, the person is there making his money. At the end of the year, what the man has realized is not up to what he will not be even happy with what he realized, not knowing that it is caused by nurses. It is caused by nurses. So we should like try to send this advice to those that are having hospitals, that if your nurses are there, you have workers, they should educate them, be it the pharmacists, the nurses, any attendant, even the security men, those that are there. They should like educate them on what to do. That please care for them. There are elderly people that comes to the hospital, they need care. Even small children, they need care. But if we don't care for them, how can we come back? They will sleep and say, this is my last time of coming there. There are some other women, pregnant women. You go to the hospital, they say, madam, Nareti, now your first belly, Nareti may make us so sleep fine or shut your food. A woman that is pregnant, that needs care, that needs real care for the person. You go and lie down. The way they are treating you there is not really a good one. Antenatal care.
I'm called Sister Marie Odilia. The problem in the hospital, the problem for hospital now, say if you go for hospital like a patient, or inside hospital as we come for now, I see and say our government for now, or our doctor and nurses them. In those days, time will be the go hospital. They first rush. They rush for you. They take patient, doctor to nurse them. They run. They can't take you. Not take them. Run enter inside. But now patient they come, if they die, they go. They need the wrong can't take it because now they wait. Now money now they first find now. They come now for your case now for hospital like a patient. They need to really take you like a patient again. Even if you can't die, you like die sleep for that place. Your family they can't carry you, go bury, go take you put on mortuary. They need to seriously take you like patient again because now they want money. Or you they be one you can't now motor, you can't with the car park for there before they know say a serious patient is coming. They may they take care for you on a how. Or na the way it don't stop, na the end time. I don't know because now when you go for hospital like a patient, no nurses they need to take care for you, no doctor they need to take care for you. You record doctor, hello, the patient don't come in, they need na you. No, I come. They put you for some kind of, they need you nothing to nothing. You want here they ask and say get some money for them. Sometimes you want ask some money again for them. That's the way they give that money. You don't. I see they take away, they go in. They want. They read manner they come for country too, like nurse or doctor. They ask and say you will to say don't give some money for here. You give that money now for again for that other nurse. They plenty for hospital there. Any man over put your own a mark or any your own way if you walk. Whether they come out 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you never put them.
Only thief.
Only thief. You don't carry that money go. They ask them and say that money where you be deposited for you for which my hand they turn they take the money go. Sometimes all them for hospital don't make their plan. They put their money for them, they go down. So I don't know. For now I want to say more put God for inside. I'm gonna put our ancestors for inside because our ancestors now they take care for we today. More reason and listen and understand where because now our ancestors they take care for we. If it is sick, we go hospital. In those days, our doctor and our nurses they will take care of we fine. Protect we fine. You stay for hospital for 1 year before you pay all your hospital bill. But for now, you like deposit money, you do not have. You like deposit money, you do not have. Even you die, they still want money. They carry a cups go put them again. You die. Inside oxygen, they carry a cups go keep and say until you pay that money for that oxygen before they give a cups. Of them where they need to concentrate for work, plenty of them now phone. Some of them now phone they concentrate for them, and then some of them concentrate for their phone now because some of them need earn salary fine. Some of them need earn salary fine. They need the earn fine. So it bore them. But say I the work the kind works too safe. But they first pay me. I did stress myself for year first. They first pay me. But I want your bank and say need them to they concentrate. If you be there for your house, you work now for your sister and your brother the way they sit for your house. No man will pay you, but now all God will pay you, and now a good way they do them, now you will pay you back. So maybe they work like now their own family then where they take care of them for house when no man will pay them, but now all God will pay them. I think I want to.
My name na Mami Tiko Emeresa Mediki. Me I dey sell na onions, kanda, tomato. I dey sell all things on the edge here. Yeah. So now me I dey na for market Likumba market Tiko I dey sell. Papa, this the country Cameroon. Some of the hospital they never go training. So
You're welcome back, beautiful viewers of High Television. And for those of you who are just tuning in, you are still onto the program Focal Point. And on today's edition, we are trying our very best to dissect the issue of medical negligence in our healthcare organizations and its impact on the patients. So far so good. It's been a very educative talk here as we bring in forth evidence, because nowadays you just cannot talk like that. You need to have evidence. And you who just watched those beautiful women talking about their experiences, you've had some evidence. Those of you who've been following up Madam Harriet as well as Mr. Ako, you've been getting more evidence. Now I'll take a few of your contributions very quickly, because Madam Harriet and Mr. Ako have a lot to say before we can call it quits for the day. We start with Dr. Fobella. Apparently the doctors laws are up now, they have to defend themselves. Dr. Fabiola says it's all on poor governance, leading to small, frustrated staff. How can the government invest only 8% on health of its individuals while defense is at 40%? You say what? Defense is at what? Who are they defending? From what? Who are you people defending? We need help. Do not defend me. If I'm healthy, I can defend myself. That was just an outside, by the way. Also, sometimes incompetence and frustration brings about poor output and negligence by health personnel. I think this is the only doctor who has admitted that there is negligence in the health organizations that we have. We thank you very much, Dr. Fabiola, for being very, very objective. This person comes in with a very long write-up saying, thank you for this opportunity. Actually, I have not been a victim, but people around. The rate of death is alarming as a result of negligence in the part of the medical practitioners, most especially in our government hospitals. Like the case I was informed, a patient who passed out yesterday because of the attitude of nurses. A patient will be brought to the hospital, which his or her situation requires immediate attention. The stupid nurses will sit and be gossiping or watching their videos and making comments, forgetting the reason why they were employed. At times, a patient will be brought to the hospital who is diabetic. Instead of them to take the appropriate measures to relieve such a patient, the nurse will give them drips when it's not supposed to be so. Then minutes later, you will get them say the patient's condition was critical. When the patient is already dead, appropriate measures should be put in place before assigning someone to work in the hospital. Someone's life is very vulnerable. I also buy with you, Shaveli. I think Madam Harriet, you bear with me. What are the measures that are put after you realize that a nurse has probably given a diabetic patient how do they call these, glucose? What do you do to that nurse? Because the public has this impression that these nurses are not even apprehended if in the very, very extreme cases, or some of them are not even sanctioned.
The most they do is maybe transfer them to another hospital or hide them from the forces of law and order. And it's as a result of the fact that when maybe a doctor authorizes a nurse to go get medication from the pharmacy, the pharmacist who is busy discussing and gossiping with other colleagues around will not even pay attention to what he or she is getting from the pharmacy to give the nurse, and the nurse too is in a hurry will just take it straight to the doctor. I don't know, sometimes there was an incident that happened like that in one hospital. I don't want to mention the name. The nurse went to the pharmacy, the pharmacist gave her the medication, and none of them could even identify that was the wrong medication. And he got right to the doctor, and the doctor also took and injected a woman who just gave birth, and that is how she...
And sometimes you even get to the pharmacist, they tell you, don't worry, I get the medicine. Come after, I'll give you the medicine. Yes. And someone complained that sometimes it is patients who probably died, and the nurses went and gathered their medication and keep. So when you come to buy that same medication, they don't even care if maybe that drug was maybe exposed to germs or whatever. They tell you, I have the medication. A medication that costs 10,000 francs will give you for 2,000. And you two people, no, listen, we are insulting the medical practitioners. Enough is enough. We too are blockheads. Why will you go to buy a drug and the pharmacist is telling you that, come, where are you? You're at the hospital. Tell the person I'm already at the hospital, so I'll buy it from the hospital. But the issue now is that it's the poverty. Imagine the drug is 10,000 and they tell you 2,000. What will you say?
Maybe you want to go and pay a child school fees. You don't know that you can use that 8,000 and you go and do something there.
Okay, this other one says, good morning to you, panelists and viewers. I want to thank the host for this topic because it's a very sensitive topic. Our health system needs a redemption. A serious one. I have had 3 experiences which were not good, both at the private and public hospitals. Wow. I have not been directly affected though. However, it has involved my loved ones. The first was my dad, who had been admitted in the hospital and was neglected by hospital doctors until he was being referred to another hospital. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. May he rest in peace. Another case was my husband, who happened to have been admitted in the hospital and the doctor didn't pass by to do follow-up. And worst of it was that the doctor said he did not know what else to do. Okay, you a doctor say you don't know what else to do. So what are we supposed to do?
Thank God that we are not the people saying
baffling.
Yes.
Baffling to know that you as a doctor,
you say you don't know what else to do.
Yes, you don't know what else to do. Then who do you expect
to know what to
provide that solution?
Then just imagine if it's happening to upright persons. Then what about people with disabilities?
Okay, no, let's read it out. I know people have a lot to say. I want to be quick because we have some few minutes to be here. I thought doctors have taken the oath to fight for lives and save lives. I had to request for a discharge under a fight in order to take him to another hospital. Fortunately, it all ended well. The third case was when my daughter was admitted in the hospital. I witnessed a case where a couple came in at 4 a.m. with their sick child, and because they didn't have cash at hand, the hospital refused to attend to them. They had electronic cash. I don't know how it ended, but it's sad. I think that the hospital administration should sit up and sanction lazy and negligent hospital personnel. They should put boxes in the hospitals where patients or the population can easily drop complaints, suggestions, and appraisals as far as the well-being of the hospital is concerned. We thank you very, very much for your contributions. Madam Harriet, I'm coming to you. Now, let's look at this scenario where, firstly, they refuse to attend to you because you don't have money. Secondly, you mentioned the drugs. And sometimes the doctors even take you to their own hospitals. There's another problem.
Yes.
I come to a general hospital, of which we know the general hospital has got all the practitioners and they are well trained, really trained. I come to a hospital and I am meeting a doctor that I know is well trained, and this doctor is referring me to his own hospital. What are you doing? And most cases go and die.
Yes.
They go and die. So what's happening?
I think we as the patients, those who actually need these health services, we have to be using our number 6 or number 7 senses.
Exactly.
Because how do you go to a hospital and then a doctor lures you to his own private clinic, and what are you thinking? And then you get there and you realize that he doesn't really have all the equipment, maybe from blood checking and every other thing that needs to be done, especially if you have to go through a surgical procedure. It doesn't just take you for surgery, no blood, nothing, and you just go there. Like the case that happened in Munya, up to now I'm still unable to comprehend what actually happened. I'm kind of thinking that maybe this is something, a spiritual something, because and the lady that was involved is also a nurse. How did she get to that point of going along with that doctor right to his own private clinic to the point of surgery without her blood being checked? I'm sure she's supposed to know these things as a medical practitioner.
Quack.
So like
nurse, maybe she's a quack nurse.
We have situation in there are some hospitals where people go there as cleaners and they end up becoming nurses and doctors. Yes, you see someone this year as a cleaner and the next year they're already in the office and they're calling them doctor. This situation that happened with my younger brother. My younger brother was in pains for 3 good months. And when it all started, we took him to this hospital and they did ultrasound, they did x-ray and everything that was supposed to be done. But then, from there they said they didn't see anything. We had to take him to different hospitals. And we even went to one hospital where the doctor said it was kidney problem and started giving him medication for kidney. And then instead, like defunct,
crippled him.
Because after that, my younger brother started moving like with his hands,
like a spider.
His hands on the like this, and with his leg not really carrying himself up because of pains, and we had to take him back to the house. And then we went back to that same hospital we had gone at the beginning of that crisis, and then with the practitioner who finally did another ultrasound on him that day, looked at his book and said, but everything has been there from day one. So we see that the problem was the doctor who had to interpret that results
could not interpret it.
You see, that's why the doctor said there was nothing wrong, because they said there was nothing wrong with him.
Meanwhile, the problem is
the problem was there,
but he could not interpret.
He could not interpret. How do you become a doctor when you cannot interpret?
That is why I was about saying that we have confusion even within the doctors.
Yes.
Dr. A comes and tells you, Mr. Ako, to do a particular test. Maybe you should do tuberculosis because he's suspecting tuberculosis. He's suspecting maybe HIV and so he tells you to do those tests. You do them and he looks at it keenly, and probably he's still to come and read that result to know whether it's actually what he has been suspecting or something else. And maybe he hands over and he's thinking in his mind that maybe when I come tomorrow I'll check on this patient and see. Dr. B comes and tells you to do that same test where the results are still there. He says no, still do it again because I'm not really seeing anything. Only for Dr. A to come back the next day and tell you, Papa, you are HIV positive.
That is the problem we have in our system.
It's like the doctors themselves are in confusion.
They are in confusion, Madam Mano. They don't. I think they should not quote me wrongly. They don't know what to do. they are just there for their money. That is what I've been trying to say, even from when we started this program, that most of the doctors or the nurses we have here, they don't have the people at heart.
Yeah.
They think about themselves. Because, Madam Ano, let me take you to another point. Do you know that 65% of disabilities is due to negligence?
Exactly.
How do you expect a midwife? A midwife has put up long nails like a masquerade or a mermaid to go and attend to somebody who is in labor. And what happened when you happen to you touch the eye of that child? At the end of the day, we start saying, no, is that grandmother from the village? Witchcraft. Hey, look at this disabled person. Look at this disabled person. You don't know that their nails has caused damages in the eye of that child.
I heard somewhere that if your child has a problem, blame the midwife.
Yes. Madam Ano, this one like this, I know that some of the midwives will be angry with me this very today, but we should tell them the truth. When you put on those nails like that, you want to attend to somebody who is in labor. What do you expect? Some of them at times you even hear, hey, I don't forget when you put the eye drop, I be supposed to put them on. Madam, when you reach home, you do what are you doing? I was discussing with a friend yesterday that they say gossiping is done all in salons, but now our hospitals are becoming the leaders of gossip. They can even gain awards as far as gossiping is concerned because of what? A nurse is instead concentrating on her phone and somebody is in labor. Can you imagine a situation where a woman who is in labor is the one?
Dyed hair.
Time never reach.
A nurse has tilted the hair green.
You understand? A nurse is concentrating on her phone and somebody who is in labor is the person who is instead helping herself.
Or a sister who came, like we've had cases where pregnant women even die at gates.
They die.
It is your sister who now has to magically become a midwife to be checking you. Or sometimes the nurses will even come, Mr. Ako, they'll check you, and then when they tell the sister, if anything big, you can't find me for that room. Then when you go and you explain, really, Adikam, then that Adikam
will take time again to
before coming now, you will not even take patience to attend to the person who is in labor. At the end of the day, it's either part of the hand is damaged or the leg is damaged. At the end, the child is disabled. Another one, you will come now, the drugs you're supposed to administer to that person, you give wrong drugs. Why?
And wrong dosages. You tell me to take 3 of those tablets, meanwhile I'm supposed to take one.
Madam,
I can't take 3, my heart starts making go.
And at the end of the day,
they say it's my grandmother in the village who has killed me.
Yes.
Meanwhile it's you.
Now, when you become a disabled, now they say, well, this one too. I remember one visually impaired lady was sharing her testimony with me that she went to the hospital. She went for antenatal, and the nurse said, "May God punish that boy who give you belly. With the disability where you get them, he can give you belly again. God punish that guy who give you belly." So, madam, and the nurse left the girl. Just imagine. And I asked the girl, then what happened next? So she was like, it's like she is not a human being. She is not even supposed to live in our society. You see, that is what persons with special abilities are going through. You imagine a person with disability going to the hospital. You are going through pains. They will tell you, go to social action service unit to go and complain. Social action service unit, they need to know what is happening with you before they write it to the director of the hospital. Before the director of the hospital takes so and so decision.
Sometimes you even get there and nobody is
even, you will even ask,
so the negligence is everywhere.
Where is social action service unit located? And you will be there. Somebody will just be looking at you as if you are not even talking to somebody.
Like you are 1 + 1
negative 1. Madam Ano, before you even notice, that person must have died or something has happened to that person.
Yeah, so, I think this happens because they are not being held accountable.
Apparently,
yes.
And that should be the way forward.
Yes. They have to be held accountable. If you cause a
patient, if possible, even sue you.
Yes.
Can they be sued? That's another thing.
And sometimes even if you sue them, for those who already have their money or they have family,
they are godfathers.
Yes, they will just cover it up and
they are godfathers. If you want to operate well in this country, you should have a godfather.
Maybe your loved one, you came to the hospital, dies. You've lost.
Yeah. All right, Madam Harriet, we've been talking a lot, and I know in fact, everyone is saturated already, because we have brought almost everything that is happening that we feel on our own part. It's the practitioners, the medical practitioners, being negligent. So look into your camera right now, talk about this whole thing, and give your way forward, so that we should not just end up talking. What possible solutions are we also suggesting to those people who are working at the medical organization? Someone said there should be suggestion boxes. By the time your doctor opens the box and sees your name, sir, nurse A, B was very negligent with me for so and so reason. When people have their meeting and they are dealing with you, you will learn to change. So, madam, give your own.
Okay, let me start with our government. Because after everything has been said, the government is still responsible, highly responsible for the welfare and safety of its citizens. And so they have the responsibility to provide everything from good hospitals, the equipment, good roads,
inclusive hospitals,
and as accessible hospitals, especially for persons with disability, and even for children, even for women, and everybody should be inclusive. Every provision they want to give to put in the hospital should be for everybody's good. It shouldn't discriminate against some other people, and they should also hold some of these practitioners. They should also hold them responsible in case they neglect a patient or they do something that causes a patient to die. They shouldn't just let it go or transfer them to another center because they want to maintain them in there, when we all know that they are not competent. And also, as a medical practitioner, if you love the job, please make sure that you go for training.
Appropriate training.
Yes, go for appropriate training. Don't go to maybe 6 or 9 months. Go for a 6 or 9 months course, and then you find yourself in the hospital, and then you call yourself a nurse or a doctor, because you've just had some few months of training. It's something that has to take a very long time, and you also have to be passionate about it. It shouldn't be just about the money. You should have that passion for it. You should, if you're passionate about it, your main focus will be on preserving lives rather than the money that patient is going to give you. And then let me come now to us, the patients, those of us who go to the hospital when we are sick. Now we are all apart from children who are children, as adults, we all know those things that are detrimental to our health. We should learn to avoid eating or consuming these things so that we stay healthy, especially in our African, especially in our context, our society, where we know how poverty is dealing with people. You cannot go like what Madam Mano said, that you're spending money on 5 bottles of beer, but when it comes to your health, you're negligent. So once in a while, go to the hospital and do checkup. Don't just sit until you get sick or you start feeling headache. Sometimes headache can even take your life away.
The severe
headache. So make sure that you go for checkup. Go for your HIV, and there are a whole lot of things that you can always go to the hospital to check yourself. So that you don't
check even your organs. Like I remember I had a very sharp pain that was reaching my back, and I got to the hospital. They were like, let's just check everything inside.
So that you don't just see.
So they know if your heart is not pumping well, your pancreas are affected, your kidney. They should just know.
Sometimes you can have slight stomach bite, and that's it. That's the end of your life. And then people start blaming your friends.
Meanwhile, it's tapeworm because we eat rice.
Of course, meanwhile, it's your system.
Your
system.
Okay, Mr. Ako, over to you. A few minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mano. I'm grateful. I think I'll just have to plead with the government that they should step up their game if they have our people at heart. Because I know they love our people, and they will not like that we should be losing them day in, day out. For instance, you go to our hospitals, some of the hospitals, they don't even have standby generator. What happens to the person who is on a CS? What happens to that person if there is nothing to give energy? What happens to that one who is on oxygen? When we don't have a standby generator, we know what is happening.
Please, Mr. Aku, wait, calm down. I'm not talking about that. We're not talking about the generator that when they seize the light, you people have to go and now do zhuzh.
Yes.
We're talking about the one that kicks in.
Yes.
Immediately the generator senses, even for 1 second, that there's no power. It just kicks in. I love those. There's a hospital like that, private hospital in Douala.
Okay.
As an opportunity to visit someone,
Good.
and they took power. We only knew there was some switch because of the way the generator actually does it, kicking. It does the cartoon. You just hear like something it's so funny and so like it's really nice to the ear.
Yes.
And it starts powering the whole building. Not the generator that people have in your own. And then sometimes you want to go. There's no petrol. Someone died on the operation table because there was no petrol in the generator. They had to go and look for petrol.
You understand?
Are you serious?
So you see a lot. There is so much to do as far as making our hospitals to be the best is concerned. Madam Mano, another point that I think I should also advise the government, you go with the patient, if something is happening, the patient is short of blood, instead of the people to even bring some of the necessary requirement that you are supposed to, maybe you sign that if you have shortage of blood, they should bring what they have in the hospital before you start balancing up. But before they call somebody to come and donate blood for you, at the end you lose the patient already. So you see, why can't we bring another system? Let them be blood.
And this goes because the basic history of patients is not known.
Yes.
Because, and this also goes back to the population. That's why it's always important. Know your blood group. Know your everything that basic information about you, and you should have a standby document that carries those information. Probably it can be photocopied, and also when you get to the hospital, if that doctor is mindful and you're going in for, let's say, an operation or you were in an accident, the first thing they are looking for is what's your blood group type. During the initial stage where they are trying to take information about you, in some hospitals they don't even stress, they just pick that document and they are looking what is he allergic to, his background medically and all of that. I can be dying. I can be dying
for that point, because I've never ever considered that.
Okay,
and it's
wow.
very
It's
important.
It's important.
You have to know those background information about yourself, and you have to have a document that says it. You go to the hospital, like for me, if you've been operated upon, you go to the hospital, they must know. There are some drugs that you cannot take, and there are some drugs you can take. If you have gastritis, they must know. But there are some people who don't know they have gastritis. They don't even know anything. And so when you go, the drug that they're giving you is reacting because of something that's in your system. So you have to know all of this. In some hospitals, like I was saying, the document is already there. As you come, the doctor just looks at it, background. He has once been sick of this and this and this, so they already know. Okay, if this person has once had an infection, fungal infection, and this person is suffering from this, it could be they already have something to start working on. But you go to the hospital, you are as blank as an A4. They start telling you to do 105 tests because they are still struggling to find a base. That is why people spend too much money. Go to the hospital and do these basics. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ako.
Yes, Madam Mano, and I think I should also advise the population that if you go to the hospital with your patient, also be kind to the nurse or the doctor, and to all the midwives or the nurses. What I would tell them is, if you do a good thing tomorrow, you might be passing at the roadside and Akwahendu will point at you, hey, now that nurse make me so well, they born me fine. I think you will get some credit. So thank you so much, Madam Mano, for this opportunity. And we were trying to build our country. We were not here to wrong anybody.
All right, we thank you all too very much. Like Mr. Ako was saying, I'm also going to end with this. Please, let's be kind to the nurses and the doctors. Don't carry your medical problem and put on a nurse or a doctor. In as much as we're talking about the fact that they are negligent, you too sometimes you're too rude. Your patient has been suffering and you're carrying the patient to the hospital at a diabolical stage. But that patient has been suffering in the house. People were there giving the patient aloe vera or giving him fever grass, drink the one. When it has reached here, you want the doctors now to perform miracles. Or when you get to the hospital, maybe the doctor is performing a surgery, the nurses are on another emergency case, you start talking rudely and shouting. You see, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say, your health should be your priority. So that when you go to the hospital and the nurses are not taking